Hey, it's September 2016. It's time to do another Q&A video. This is where I answer the questions you leave in the comments in my videos in the prior month. So let's get to it. So the first question comes from Michael Guberti, who is talking about a video I did with Guy Kawasaki. And he says that it's interesting content. What's your thoughts about growth of social media? This presents some business uses for these renowned platforms. Well, I tell you, it's a natural fit, obviously. However, the important thing to remember is that marketers screw up everything. So when companies start using social media as a way to only advertise, that is to push people into buying using social media, then I think that becomes a big mistake, and social media loses a lot of its value. So it's a very important thing for companies to give and actually become members of a community rather than just using it as yet another marketing platform. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, the next question comes from Danny A, who writes, "Hey Bruce, do you review products for money or for free products?" The answer is no and no. I've never accepted money for a review. In fact, I've turned companies down for payment, and I've never approached a company to review a product simply to get that product for free. What I do is I'll get emails from various manufacturers wanting to know if I'm interested in reviewing a product, and there's times I actually have to return them, and there's times I'm allowed to keep them, but that is not the reason behind the video. What I do is try to find products that I think you folks are going to be interested in and share them, but it's never my policy to actually solicit products to review in order to get them for free. That's just not ethical in my mind, and I think most people would agree with me on that. Okay, this question comes from Mark Zajac, who writes, Bruce, could you maybe touch on the recent news on Windows 10 Enterprise E3? Maybe in your next installment of Microsoft News Monthly. That would be Talking Microsoft, which I apologize, I am running really far behind on that. I'm trying to figure out if the $7 a month is worth it for business-related work. Other things to touch on would be how to get it, etc. Well, so I'm just going to bottom line it for you. Microsoft's Windows division is not making as much money as it used to. Microsoft is looking for new and creative ways to monetize Windows. You know, basically they make their money off of OEM licenses and upgrades, right? That's normally how they make their money. PC sales are down, so they're not getting as much cash that way. They've also given a number of licenses away for free to OEMs if you build a machine for tablets and phones that are under certain screen sizes, certain specifications. That being said, Microsoft is now finding itself in a situation where they've got to monetize Windows a whole lot more. And who better than the business community? And that means maybe taking away features you used to get, say, in Windows Pro, which I did a video about that, in order to induce people to start paying a subscription. And that's going to be the new E3 license from Microsoft. And this is moving you off, an attempt, I should say, to move people away from the Pro license onto the paid E3 license for $7 a month or $84 a year. So the question is, are some of the following features important to you? Direct access, app locker, managed user experience, app virtualization, environment virtualization, credential guard, as well as Windows to Go. If some of those features are important to you in your business, then absolutely. If not, no compelling reason that I see to actually move to Windows 3 Enterprise. Now, how do you get it? Through either a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner, through volume licensing is another example. Microsoft said their normal licensing channels on this. E3 really is meant for the mid to large enterprise, not so much the small mom and pop type business, but certainly that's the direction they're headed in. Great question, thanks for asking. Okay, this is really just a response to a comment. I really wasn't going to include it in this video. It comes from a Carrie Wang. This is in response to my 5 reasons not to switch to Mac if you're a Windows user. And said, how is this guy supposed to be a tech channel when his setup is such absolute trash? Now, I looked at the video, and the only thing you see was dual 27-inch IPS displays. Mind you, they were Korean made. No longer using those, but the rest of my setup, really? You must have some impossibly high standards. MacBook Pro, custom built gaming PC, LG ultra wide monitor, good quality stuff. What exactly are you looking for there? Okay, the next question comes from V Gaming. Which video editing software do you use that can do 4K? And did the camera come with free editing software? He's talking about the Sony AX5300 Handycam that I bought. First off, I use two different things. I use either Final Cut Pro 10 on the Mac, and I use Sony Vegas Pro 13 on the Windows PC. Haven't gotten into that whole subscription thing from Adobe. Now, a new version of Sony Vegas is promised by the end of this month, about 2 years or more in the making. So we're going to see how that goes. I may, if Sony doesn't step up its game, I may pay for a subscription to Adobe Premiere. I don't know. But no, Sony did not include any free editing software in the with the purchase of the camera. Okay, this is really a question from SPL. Now I'm going to paraphrase this. But ask, can you run Windows long-term without having to format and refresh it at least once a year? You absolutely can. I put my custom gaming PC together 3 years in October of this year, and I have yet to reformat and reinstall Windows on this machine. It's been through an upgrade from Windows 7 Professional to Windows 10 Pro. Other than that, nothing else about Windows has changed. I've not had to reinstall anything. It's worked fabulously for me, but I use it for work, and I'm very careful about what I do on this system. The applications I install all have to have a purpose, a reason. So I'm not just playing around with software. I'm not doing stuff that would break Windows. That used to be the way things were with Windows, but not so much the case anymore. Properly cared for Windows installation will run for a long time without the need to reformat and refresh your PC. However, Microsoft has made it very easy to do with Windows 10. Just check out Windows Refresh. Next question comes from Carlos E. Bruce, do you recommend the Canon 80D for video? I'm starting a YouTube channel. Those are going to be excellent cameras. Hopefully this is not, you're not buying this camera specifically to start a YouTube channel. Especially if you're looking to make money at it and so forth. So I'm going to give you kind of two schools of thought on this. If your budget permits, and no matter how well your YouTube channel does, if you enjoy the camera and you're going to make use of it, absolutely, it's a great camera for video. However, if you're thinking, that you're going to make money with it and it'll pay for itself and all that, you might be better off getting started with something that costs a whole lot less money and build your channel and use proceeds to improve your camera. Look, gear doesn't make a successful YouTube channel. It's really about the content, your personality, your delivery, how you make and edit your videos, delivering quality content. The gear is all secondary, and people can forgive some not the best video in order to see great content. Now, audio, on the other hand, is really, really important, people. In fact, I would say I would invest very heavily in the audio portion more than I would the video portion in the very beginning, getting a YouTube channel started, but that's just my opinion. Thanks for asking that question. Okay, the next question comes from Mouse Geek, who writes, and this was in response to the video I did called Windows 10 Epic or Windows Epic Fail. Very interesting video. Is this sort of thing that will be good for Linux? All right, so let me bottom line it for you. Essentially, with the Windows 10 anniversary update, Microsoft made changes specifically to Windows 10 Professional that now lets some advertising in and takes away some control through group policy. Ultimately, that's what it's about. This does not affect the enterprise or educational versions of Windows. And what I said was this may give sysadmins some pause to maybe consider other alternatives. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One is what I would like to see happen, and secondly, what will probably happen. What I'd like to see happen is that certainly sysadmins take operating systems such as OS 10 or Linux a little bit more seriously as an alternative desktop out in their environment. However, the reality is companies will probably just pony up for the Windows E3 edition that I mentioned earlier in this video, and they'll probably just keep paying the money because changes are hard. It's a very, I can't even imagine the cost in actually trying to move people off Windows onto Linux, find Linux alternatives to their applications, their workflows. The training that would be involved would be astronomical. The bottom line rules business, and the bottom line would probably indicate status quo. So ultimately, is this good for Linux? I don't see where it makes a really big dent in Windows in favor of Linux. What does, and I really believe this heart and soul, what makes a big difference for the world of Linux is gaming. Getting more and more people into gaming will bring the people. It will bring more and more application developers into the Linux environment. Gaming, and that's going to require obviously better graphics drivers. It's one of the common complaints I hear all the time, that graphic cards aren't really supported as well in Linux as they are on Windows, or to a lesser extent on OS X. So it's gaming that will broaden that mind share for a lot of people. That's what's important, I think, for Linux more than anything else. Get more and more gamers involved in the world of Linux, and then yeah, then I think you got something. But in the business world, they're just going to spend the money. They're just going, like I said, they're going to fork it over to Microsoft, and I don't really see that being a major change. And that is going to wrap up this installment of Q&A for the month of September. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate your comments, and talk to you later. Take care.